Every match in Mobile Legends begins the same way. Heroes fight. One side wins, but almost no one asks the question, why are they fighting? Land of Dawn is not just a world of good and evil. It is a world where war, betrayal, and broken heroes shape destiny. Every hero carries a story that almost no one truly knows. In the world of Mobile Legends, there is no book that begins with the words, "In the beginning, there was a god." The history of Land of Dawn is fragmented, scattered across the fates of heroes, ancient wars, and fallen civilizations. But if these fragments are brought together, we can see how everything truly began. Before humans, before kingdoms, before the war between light and the abyss, there was only primordial energy, the source from which the world itself was formed. It had no name, no will, and it was neither good nor evil. Over time, this energy took shape. Thus, a world was born, a world that would later be known as the Land of Dawn. Within it, the first forms of life emerged, ancient beings filled with magic, and forces that would later be called light and darkness. At first, they were not enemies. Light represented order, structure, and preservation. Darkness symbolized change, freedom, and the destruction of the old. It was balance, but any balance can be broken when primordial energy began to be used, too greedily and without restraint. The world started to distort. Thus, the Abyss was born. It was not created as a separate world. It grew within the Land of Dawn. Like a wound that refused to heal, the Abyss consumed energy, warped living beings, and turned them into demons. From that moment on, light and darkness were no longer equal forces of balance. The war began. This very war gave rise to angels and demons, heroes and monsters, and shaped the fate of the world of Mobile Legends. For millennia to come, after the birth of the Land of Dawn, the world remained unstable for a long time. Magic flowed through everything, and the earliest life forms were closer to energy than to humanity. Long before human kingdoms, these lands were home to ancient races and magical beings. They did not build empires. They lived in harmony with magic. Because they were part of it, creatures bound to nature, guardians of ancient knowledge, forms of life that would later disappear or be reborn, they were the first to understand one truth: magic is power, and power demands balance. Humans came later. Unlike the ancient beings, they were not born of magic, but they learned to control it. This marked the beginning of a great rise and a future catastrophe. The first cities were built, magical academies were founded, artifacts and relics were created. Humans began to believe that magic belonged to them, and at that very moment, the balance started to collapse. The more magic was used, the more the world became distorted. Space began to fracture, anomalies appeared, and in the deepest places of the Land of Dawn, the Abyss began to grow. Some civilizations vanished without a trace. Others became sources of curses, monsters, and forgotten legends. Not everyone realized the danger. Some tried to stop, but it was already too late. Others chose to use the power of the Abyss for their own purposes. Thus appeared the first fallen ones, those whose names would become legends or nightmares. The Abyss was no longer a hidden wound of the world. It began to respond, and it was then that the beings we now call demons came into existence. The Abyss did not appear suddenly. It grew, feeding on fear, greed, and uncontrolled magic. One thing must be understood: the Abyss is not a mind in the usual sense. It has no voice, no single master, but over time, it began to respond to the desires of living beings, especially the darkest ones: revenge, rage, the thirst for power. The Abyss did not command, it offered. Those who accepted its power were never the same again. Their bodies and souls became twisted. Thus the first demons of the Land of Dawn were born. They were not born evil, they became it. One of the first, and most dangerous, was Alice. She did not blindly serve the abyss. She understood its nature. Blood became her source of power, life, and control over others. Alice did not destroy the world directly. She destroyed people from within. Deep within the abyss, Tammuz emerged, the embodiment of rage and destruction. His existence is proof that the abyss can not only corrupt, but also create. Where Tammuz appears, there are no cities left, no hope remains. But the most terrifying was Helkert. He was not born of fire, nor of blood. He was born of fear. His power is silence. His weapon is panic. His presence is a signal that the abyss is already near. Demons are not merely soldiers of the abyss. They are distorted reflections of the desires of who they once were. Every demon is a story of choice. When the abyss began to alter the very structure of the world, the land of dawn stood on the brink of destruction, but primordial energy always seeks balance in response to the growth of the abyss. Another force emerged. The light. The light was not a god. It did not speak or command. It was energy of order, protection, and preservation of the world's form. Where the abyss distorted, the light sought to hold things together. From the energy of light, beings later known as angels were born. Their task was simple: to protect the land of dawn from complete annihilation, but even they were not without emotion. Raphaela became the embodiment of compassion. She healed and saved even those who had once chosen darkness. But mercy has its price. Argus was created as a warrior. He saw the world, not through compassion, but through duty and sacrifice. When he lost his sister, his faith in the light cracked. Argus became proof that even an angel can fall. Humans did not stand aside. Under the influence of the light, they formed the Sacred Order. Its purpose was to contain the abyss and protect the world. Tigreal became the symbol of this struggle. But the light did not fully understand humans. It demanded order. Humans desired freedom. Some heroes began to doubt. Thus, tension arose within the very forces of the light. While the light struggled to maintain balance, war became inevitable. It reached kingdoms, families, and the fates of individual heroes. When the war between light and the abyss spread beyond the front lines, it entered homes and families. That was when heroes were born, whose stories cannot be divided into good and evil. Alucard lost his parents to abyss demons. The Sacred Order saved him, but could not save his soul. Revenge became his fuel. He does not serve the light. He uses it to destroy the darkness. Vexana was a queen. She loved and was loved, but betrayal and magic took everything from her. In her attempt to reclaim what was lost, she turned to forbidden powers and became what she feared the most. Leomord died defending his people, but death was not the end. The abyss returned him, binding him to the cursed steed, Barbiel. He no longer belongs to life or death. Karina chose light and order. Selena was consumed by the abyss. Their story is a reminder that choice can divide even those closest to each other. These heroes did not become monsters because of the abyss, nor did they become saints. Because of the light, they became reflections of a world that offered them no other path. After these tragedies, one truth became clear: the war would no longer end with a simple victory of one side. The world of mobile legends entered an era of constant conflict. Today, the Land of Dawn is a world scarred by its past. The abyss still grows in the shadows. While the light struggles to hold the balance, heroes continue to fight. But the war is no longer divided into good and evil. Everyone chooses their own path, and every story has its price. Kingdoms have been partially rebuilt. Magic permeates everyday life, but darkness distorts reality around it. The demons of the abyss have not vanished. The angels of the light are not omnipotent. The world has become an arena for heroes who shape history themselves and fight for their place within it. Alucard, Argus, Rafaela, Karina, Selena, Vexana, Leomord. They are all different, but they share one truth. They live in a world where choice matters more than power. Every action affects the balance, and even one hero's victory may become the beginning of another's fall. The story of Mobile Legends teaches one thing. The world is not simply a clash between light and darkness. It is a story of choice, responsibility, and consequences. Light and darkness are merely tools. Heroes are merely conduits, and the land of dawn continues to live, because every day brings a new battle, a new legend, and a new story.